Good morning, everybody. We're back at the broadcast booth at the ITWeb Security Summit for day 2. My name is Regasek. I'm here with my dear friend Tiyani and Nghonyama, the CEO of Geekulcha, to talk about the hackathon. So I went home and I got some rest, but I was a little bit late this morning.
Wow.
But you tell me that you didn't sleep a wink. So can you tell me how did it go last night? What's happening at the venue?
All right. Good morning and thank you for having me. So we essentially, these hackathons are always interesting. We get sort of different characters, different things that, it brings that nature of a hackathon because anything can happen. We essentially managed to survive the night. The guys were up all night, but we did the midnight pitches. But then you start to see some, getting innovative on how to take a nap through a hackathon. I think you have seen how they get innovative. You look around, you will see someone under a desk. You look around, you will see someone at the far corner.
Jumping up and saying yes.
So there were those moments, and some of them you actually see them as there's a concept called sleep coding. So you see someone falling asleep, but they're still writing code.
Okay, I didn't know it had a name, but okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but the night was exciting. We got to see the energy. Guys pushing through to ensure that they get their ideas through for the presentations. Yeah.
Okay, so the night was busy.
Very, very busy. Very, very busy. And fortunately, we still had some of the mentors to be assisting them throughout the process. We have got great mentors, a great community that is always there to ensure that they're able to provide assistance as needed.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to say, we just heard from Nathan and Snowd. Big thank you, Nathan. Shout out. I mean, this hackathons wouldn't have happened without him. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. To listen to the judging. I don't know what my role is this year. I'm kind of around, but I'm not really mentoring.
Always prefer you to have you mentoring. Being on the ground with the teams. Your inputs are always valuable, and it goes to show, because from a geek or developer generational transmission, there's always a lot to learn. But what we found interesting from people like Steve is that they too are actually learning in the process. So maybe let me ask you something. Have you came across that process of being a mentor, but you end up being the one who's actually learning in the process?
My mom was a teacher when she was back in Serbia.
Okay.
I have some of that element in me, and the kind of reward for it is the joy of learning. So yeah, obviously mentoring, it's a two-way street. That's also why we enjoy the hackathons. We like to be a little bit young. Reminds me when I used to do it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
When I was actually a participant, and some of the corporate ones.
Did you ever win any?
Yeah, I had a good record.
Yeah, but one of my favorite highlights from last night actually was a former participant of the Security Summit Hackathon. He actually returned as a mentor this year, and he's mentoring 2 young ladies. And he has been giving them a guiding hand throughout. He has answered them, and he has been providing assistance. And he took some time last night as well to also address the rest of the teams, especially the CTF challenge teams, on the right approach to ensure that they are able to follow the right procedures, looking at how to create attack trees, how to ensure that they are able to achieve the set goal in the CTF challenge. So that was really something exciting. And it's also that cycle that this hackathon has been building. We've got guys that were brilliant in the past hackathons. They win but then come back to impart those skills. But obviously, we also love the fact that this hackathon has been producing, that's needed skills pool. So a number of guys have been hired through this hackathon, and they get to these awesome organizations like Tailspace, even Snow, which is quite awesome, and they then get to still have time to impart back. So I think that is something we should really celebrate and elevate more. We should be telling more stories like that, actually.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. When you're already there, I was gonna ask you some of the success stories. But before that, let's take it back to the beginning, like when we met, and kind of why we started the hackathon. But what year was it? 2017.
Yes.
So yeah, do you remember our first meeting?
I didn't really think you were. I could not have thought that you were a developer. Well, I knew. I think we were at the ITWeb boardroom actually.
Yeah, ITWeb boardroom. Yeah.
Yes, I could not have thought for a second that this is one of us. I'm always good at spotting people who say that, hey, that's one of us. But having to see you having that passion to look at how do we then bring those skills. I never thought you were a deep down geek even still, but eventually I got to see that no, this is definitely one of us.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah. Also, because the first time I met you, you like came in, you small, you kind of humble, you a little bit.
Oh yes, I am humble. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. Actually,
interesting. We were looking. I was talking with Alison. You remember? And hackathons. I loved hackathons because I participated in some of them, and kind of starting them up. And then she kind of brought you in. Okay, we got a partner for the hackathons, and yeah. At first sight, I was like very confused. Who is this? Who is this guy? But then somewhere I'm kind of talking about okay, we need to have a good team, and kind of. But then I don't know. You jump up and you start waxing lyrics about IT security and skills development and all this IT stuff, and then I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Our second meeting actually was at Snow's offices in Centurion. I remember we started off the meeting by going to make coffee at the kitchen. That was something quite interesting for me actually, because it sort of like brought out that culture, making it easy, just a bunch of people who want to make change, discussing ideas over coffee. And that's when we thought of the ideathon, in which Nathan really persuaded to look at, hey, how do we introduce a more skills development angle to this and help these guys to come up with ideas. So Nathan and the team at Snowd supported that vision, and we eventually had the first ideathon in 2017, which was quite awesome, and it has become a consistent culture of this hackathon.
Yeah. Well, on that note, shout out to Nathan again. It's also, we mustn't forget, or to tell the audience, actually, in this format that we run a hackathon, we have the pre-selection and we run an ideathon from year one.
Yeah.
It was Nathan's idea about solving some of the challenges, about organizing it, and he's been there. We'll talk soon, buddy, if you ever watch this.
But I think it's also quite great that sort of like some of the original crew members, like Manny, so who would go to Manny to say, hey Manny, how do we create a judging criteria that would fit for this hackathon? Because it needed to be a security hackathon. And Manny had been quite instrumental in that regard. But for me, it's the commitment around the brand of the security hackathon. we still have Then, many and some of the other regional members like Steve, for an example, and we should actually maybe get together with Dave and the rest of the crew from the original times. But there have been a lot of great moments. We went to Kimberley together. We had a lot of impactful programs at that side. But having to see a CEO of ITWeb, a CEO of Snowd, having to spend all night helping these young techies to think, to dream, to be able to use their skills to build something. That is something very commendable, and it just resonates the brand of the Security Summit, and that's why it is always exciting. It was always exciting to look at what could be the possibilities of of seeing something even far greater than the previous year.
Yeah. Well, I kind of take it back because I also want to ask you about the progress since the beginning. But yeah, we do it. It's always for skills development. You walk into the conference, they're talking skills development. Everybody's kind of talking skill shortage. We're talking 4IR. There's like a lot of stuff, and I don't know. I definitely believe that if government, industry, and academia get together, we can actually solve the challenges. And that's kind of why we do it. We thank the guys that have been loyal. We always appreciate anybody else getting involved. But yeah, so how have you seen, like, sort of over the years, has it, in terms of the, I don't know, talent and just the event, has it evolved? Has the whole, actually not just this event, because in the past you told me that, yeah, thankfully it made some impact, that some government people noticed it and these sort of things, but just in terms of the general geek culture, because the thing that I really, actually sitting in that first hackathon and thinking about it, it's kind of the best thing that you can do for the whole thing is make a culture where people want to do this stuff. And even Skinny is now a Geekculcha. He was a participant in the first year, but now he's a Geekculcha employee. During his first night, he was very discouraged. He was getting confused with the ideas, and he was about to give up. And then during the night, he made a song about the hackathon, and he used it as a theme. But I still think it's kind of cool, like, for the actual culture. Yeah. It wasn't an IT project, but it was something that actually brings it up. So you work a lot with. So the things I respect about you is also from the beginning, I noticed that, I don't know, you really care for the guys. You don't want to share the details, you don't want to tie them into technologies, you don't want to, you want to make it good for them. And secondly, that you have this Geekculcha student society and you work actually on all the campuses. So I don't know, how is the Geekculcha doing over the years, and I don't know what.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Give us a bit of a timeline.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that you mentioned the student society as well, because hackathons like this, the Security Summit hackathon, we have always said that we want to instill that mindset of secure by design. Fresh from varsity, how do we then get these young students, aspiring developers, to be able to be groomed with the right set of skill sets, to be able to be groomed to ensure that as they get to the industry, they've got the right capability to be able to adapt to any environment, but also ensuring that they are building softwares that are adequate enough and can stand a test of quality. But terms of your first question around sort of the impact, for us it has been, here is a student developer. They have learned, they've learned C++ in the classroom, because most universities still do that. They might have learned HTML in their own space. They might have built a simple website as such. But how do we then start to change their mindset to ensure that they're able to adapt to some sort of best practices, especially with security? So that has been one of the key highlights, in ensuring that we're able to change the mindset. And then secondly, we're able to persuade someone to follow a career in the cyber security space. Because you remember the first hackathon, I was asked to speak on stage, and I said that we want to use this hackathon to be able to build a strong cyber army in South Africa. Guys who have got the capability to be able to stand up and say that we care for the critical infrastructure in South Africa. We want to be the people who can defend the critical infrastructure in South Africa. And that's what we have been instilling through a hackathon like this. And some of these guys have gone on to pursue careers in the cyber security space. So that's another sort of like highlight or a success around it. The other one is shifting also the mindset in government. I've been fortunate enough since 2017 to partner with the Northern Cape Department of Economic Development and Tourism in the Northern Cape. We have supported the Security Summit Hackathon. And in some cases, we would go to Kimberley to host that side, or the guys come this side. So that notion to spark the interest of a government institution like that, to realize the value of a hackathon like this. And the Premier actually talking about it in his State of the Province address. That is one of the key successes, because it does show that we are being listened to somehow. There are people who are willing to listen and accept some resources into it. The other one is how we have managed to ensure that the community stays strong. So I'm talking about mentors. I'm talking about guys who want to come back the following year to participate. I'm talking about some of the supporters of the hackathon as such, because the hackathon has built something that people believe in, to be able to say that we are committed to continuing this, we are committed to building the skills capacity, we are committed to supporting whatever dream. So you remember just after COVID-19, you had some very interesting themes as well. And the guys believed in that when we were able to implement the hackathon against that belief. So having something to believe in is always something good. And one of the major success stories is how many young techies have been hired through the hackathon. Sometimes what we try to do as well, you remember the likes of PwC, for example, who then ask that they go through a VEC work program, a shadowship program and such, and they've been taken into acquire some real industry experience.
We need a lot more of that, but I'm still waiting for the unicorns coming from Africa.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Making a big impact on the world stage. And I feel like we have challenges as a country, but we still believe in it. I do. We have a goal. I don't know. I hope this cyber army will happen one day. But initially, in terms of interest, I know the people that are actually studying on the campuses, but also from what I understood initially is also you had a place where somebody that just wants to, is maybe not studying it, but is walking around campus, is interested in IT. They can come and check out the stuff, which is done on your student society. So how are they doing? Are they still going?
Yeah, no. So
can you tell us which universities and how are the?
Yeah. So recently, actually, we have just gotten 41st Geekculcha Society chapter in South Africa. Actually, we had attempted one in Botswana as well, but in South Africa. We do have student society chapters in different campuses, And the aim of those is to enable students to have technological and innovation leadership, and also enables other students to be able to grow through that. But Geekculcha essentially then becomes that vehicle for one to be able to say that I can come to a Geekculcha platform and I can grow my skills, I can be able to utilize these skills, I can be able to ensure that I grow in the process, but we also encourage skills redistribution. And eventually, how do you then land a job or start a business out of that? And hackathons also provide that process. But I wanted to actually mention that Guardian Health, you remember Guardian Health was formed at a hackathon we did.
Actually at the BI Summit, yeah.
Yes, so just 3 weeks ago actually they had an official launch. And in their platform they've got doctors, they're hiring doctors, and they are from a hackathon. That is something to be excited about as well. So, some of these things are slow, but there is progress. There is progress, but obviously at the base of it, from a Geekculcha standpoint, skills development becomes a crucial thing as well, because we need to ensure that we are building the capacity. But that capacity, as you correctly state, it does need to translate into a unicorn that we want to be really, really proud of.
Why did you start? You told me the story, but can you tell the people why did you start Geekculcha? And from what I remember, it was out of a hackathon.
No. So Misho actually is the original founder of Geekulcha, and then I joined in, and then I came in from a technical, and then we implemented Geekulcha to be a platform. But it all started out from this notion of students. From certain institutions in South Africa in the past, some students would not be easily hired by different institutions, but you can see that there is capacity. They're able to code and build some really great products. So we wanted to ensure that Geekulcha provides that platform for them to get industry exposure, to get exposed to what's out there. Whether it's your big corporations, but that was the first step. How do we expose students to the industry so that they can get work opportunities, collaborative opportunities, but also be able to identify their space within the ICT sector. Yeah, and then obviously Geekulcha had then evolved throughout the years. We have tested out a number of things, but the original motive and the mantra of Geekulcha still remains. But at the end of the day, how do we build a strong and vibrant and sustainable Geekculcha in South Africa? And that's why we're excited to be partnering in platforms like this, because it's another vehicle to ensure that the ecosystem stays strong. The Geekculcha is leading towards building that unicorn that many of us so wish for.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't want to tell that story about your friend from university. He solved something for the disabled.
Jeez. I've got so many stories.
Okay, not this time.
I've got so many stories, but it has been a very interesting journey. But I did meet Misho through a hackathon, and he promised me that there will be a lot of food in culture. Started out as a joke, but eventually it became quite interesting because being a startup in the beginning, resources were scarce, so we would actually plan out to say, oh, okay, there's this event in the morning, we can go there, have breakfast. There's this event in the afternoon, that's our lunch. And then in the evening, that essentially became our dinner. It was actually a funny thing, but that we tested out, but so we had to look at a number of ways, and we had to ensure that we are able to elevate as many students as possible. But we have worked on a number of projects in the beginning as well. Some worked, some didn't. There are always failures, but the journey has been quite exciting because Geekculcha does work with local and international organizations, whether it's governments, corporations, and such. But we're always excited to be able to play a role in South Africa to ensure that we are able to contribute towards the goal of reaching a great, capable state.
Yeah. That's why I actually wanted you to tell the story, because it kind of shows that. I mean, I know you do it for the because you care about this stuff. You're not really a business and maybe financial skills is that part is less important than the actual purpose of getting this stuff done, and that's what you actually really care about, and building a better country and
yes, we do care about it, but at the end of the day, because Geekculcha has got 26 programs. We've got a team. We need to be able to support the team. We are mostly essentially self-funded. And so we had to then look at how do we mix the two, the passion and ensuring sustainability at the same time. So hence we had to test out a lot of business cases, and that's always crucial when you're starting out something. You need to write out business cases and test them into implementation. And some of them will work, some of them will not work. But we've got a number of programs that essentially do not make any profit at all, because we believe in ensuring that we support the ecosystem, and we really care about the ecosystem and its people.
Yeah, no, definitely. I always believe that, I don't know, if the industry gives a little bit of time, obviously, I don't know, you're dedicating your life to it, but we're not asking for that much, but maybe just like once a year.
No, who wouldn't want a nice Christmas gift, right?
Yeah, give a day or two and try to pass on some knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, sure. I also agree that from my perception, the average of the skills, because through the years there's always been like those guys that are like Mabu and others that are just they are kind of unicorns in isolation, but the general sort of response and the things I'm really excited to see, because from the initial presentations, from the Hackathon, there was lots of decent stuff. I want to see if these guys, what are they going to,
Yeah, no, definitely.
Whether they just mark up about something, or there's some real stuff.
Yeah, no. I think this year's hackathon has been exciting, actually. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the final presentations. So it does really. I think there's always a panic at times, Firstly, do you wonder if people will actually show up? And then do you also have to wonder if the solutions that will be produced will be of quality enough? Because we really just want you to ensure that that the hackathon grows not only from numbers. The numbers have never really been an issue, but the growth from ensuring that the skills are quite adequate, and it's creating something of greater value.
Okay. So you're a coder yourself, T. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yes, Ivan.
Yeah. You're building a Sonke platform. I know that's one of the things. What's your favorite languages?
Jeez. Well, I try not to have favorite languages. And I don't really like to get into
I also try, but some are just nicer than others.
Yeah, I also don't like to get into the debates of which one is better. I'm more about, am I able to build a solution, obviously ensuring that it started from the right architecture, security always by design, and ensure that it gets used. That's the most important thing. So, because sometimes we tend to put focus on these languages, invest time, technologies, but that tends to become the death of us, because we get excited about technologies at the beginning, but that is always a contributor in most cases of projects failing, and this project never sees the light of day. So for me, my greatest excitement is having to use a certain technology, build something that will be used by the people. Through Sonke, we have hosted over 20 hackathons. There's a lot of things there, even a judging system. But obviously, there are other applications that we are building, and it has thousands of users. But to satisfy you, Ivan, in terms of your questions,
please.
I'm really starting to enjoy Golang at the moment. And I'm also a classic guy, I still really love PHP, I'm still a great lover of PHP. JavaScript is actually quite cool. Yeah, so I do work with JavaScript almost every day. So, yeah.
I get you, but I have to give a shout out because I do have a favorite language, and it's JavaScript. It's been since actually HTML5 and JavaScript.
Oh, yeah,
kind of transitional. ECMAScript 5 and it's transitioned into being a real enterprise language. And I agree with you. Computer languages, they have a purpose. They're good for something like sort of, I don't know, nations and their languages, and everybody has their strengths, and nobody's really better than the other. But JavaScript is kind of the English. One of the reasons that I like it, not just apart from the syntax, which I do like in some of the simplicity, because it can be extremely ugly and it can be extremely complicated. Extremely simple and extremely ugly and extremely beautiful. So I don't know, it's kind of like a weird language. It's
but there are a lot of JavaScript. Let me not say a lot. There are a couple. Let me say a couple of JavaScript libraries, and it has brought excitement within the tech ecosystem, especially with what would be described as Gen Z, the younger ones. But my worry there is we seem to be grooming developers that are mostly on the surface. They get excited about JavaScript, they look at the frameworks, but they tend to not put too much effort on understanding the architecture behind, understanding the data structures, to put it like that, ensuring that they fully understand the language and understand it fully. And that does affect the architecture of the solution in the long run, and that would essentially become a local host project that will always live on your laptop. So that's one of my worries at the moment, especially in the South African tech ecosystem, that we tend to want easy wins, we tend to want to celebrate. So and I always say this, that we are a country that loves celebrating too soon. Yeah, so too much and too long.
Right. It's good to celebrate as well.
It is good to celebrate, but we must ensure that we have the basics sorted. We cannot be claiming that we are living the 4IR without taking care of the basics of ensuring that the larger population is well covered with basic digital literacy skills. So I believe that the basics must always be taken care of in order for you to achieve an adequate and a strong architecture in the long run. Load shedding is another thing. We got too excited too much without really thinking and analyzing.
Who got excited about load shedding?
No.
Who's excited?
No. So,
except those guys taking the money.
No. I didn't say anyone got excited about load shedding. What I'm trying to say is we've got load shedding because of such things of wanting easy wins without thinking the long term of mass electricity generation to cover. We should have been able to predict population growth. We should have been able to ensure that we plan ahead. Invest in the basics to ensure that we've got a future that is well secured. So that's also my thinking around technology as well, that we need to spend a bit of time investing on the basics to ensure that we're able to have strong, beautiful and usable solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, but back to the languages, because it's the language of the web.
Yes.
I'm still gonna argue this point, because I think it's quite important for. It's kind of, I feel like HTML is something that kids need to learn in school. Sure, you have like robotics and stuff, but because it's the language of the internet, and now JavaScript is the scripting language of the internet, I kind of feel everybody needs to know that one, and then you can use your specialty languages for all the special things that you need to do.
Yeah, no. So you from time to time you do advocate your philosophy on web technologies, and I think that is brilliant. That is one of the things.
I care about it. That's why.
You care about it.
Because I'm a geek.
Yeah. I care about it too. And I totally agree with you. And there's no but in that statement. Yeah.
Okay, we're still friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, we are still friends for now. But what kind of a friend calls another friend to do an interview after that friend has spent all night at a hackathon? Has been.
Hasn't slept a night. And now he needs to go into the boardroom and present there, and then we have the judging. And, the main plenary. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's the excitement of it, the hackathon culture, the thrill of it, the adrenaline, having to see ideas being transformed into something, seeing these young technologists getting excited about the possibilities of what could be. Sometimes their imagination run wild, but it is really an exciting space to be in, because you're not just having people talk ideas, you're having people work on those ideas, and that is something to really be excited about. That we've got a country of young technologists that are committed to the mission.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and may the interest continue. I mean the culture. I do think see a lot of more kids being interested in IT.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in today's world, it's maybe a thing of the past. They don't have an option except to see that, okay, we use IT for everything.
Yeah.
And it's a new world.
Yeah, no, but it is also important to ensure that we also instill this culture of ensuring that we're always making business sense with the solutions. Because we cannot continue building. There's something called family planning in the tech world. You invest too much time in a solution with hopes as such. So we really need to ensure that we instill that culture from the beginning, that we need to make business sense. We need to ensure that that solution has got a market. That solution is needed, and that is something we're emphasizing during the midnight pitches of the hackathon as well. That do not create a solution that will become a problem at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing I believe about business is if you create value, you should be able to make money.
Yeah.
And
but
as long as
then how do you?
It's not
build
easy.
that
You have to work, bruh. You have to work. You have to be good. You have to compete with all the other businesses and now all the other international businesses. So the economy is not kind.
Yeah. So having that value really goes back to ensuring that you are building something that is needed to an existing problem, to ensuring that, because sometimes we believe that our ideas are the best. These ideas sound great in our minds, but will they work in the real set? Does the next person need this idea? So we need to be honest on such. Will the next person be willing to pay money for this idea?
The thing that I find in my own personal life is ideas are much easier than execution.
Yeah.
I have a very long list of ideas that
Yes.
I actually even know
Yes.
how to execute, and then there's some ideas that I'm like, maybe I could execute, and then there's some ideas that would be really cool if I could execute, but I have no idea.
Yeah, but I remember around 2012, everyone had an app idea. Almost everyone had an app idea. Well, many still do, but it's quite interesting that I've got a blockchain idea. So it's exciting as well as to technology keeps evolving, and new enhancements are coming along, and we now have blockchain ideas, AI ideas. We have got the emergence of APIs, the economy, well, not the emergence of APIs, because APIs have been there for quite some time, but the true
Kind
value.
of standard architecture even for the web, yeah.
Yes, the now more realized true value of APIs for business, for ensuring that innovation gets created, accelerates, and really gets to unlock new things. That is quite exciting, and we also need to instill that more. So these guys are creating solutions, but what is the value of the data? What is the value of ensuring that they are unlocking new services? And I know.
Yeah, making people's lives better. So in terms of the idea, I think it needs to add value by making something better, making businesses more efficient, making the consumers' lives better, whatever it is. You find whatever that thing is, but then it's actually executing it in order to really do that.
Yeah.
Because it's
definitely.
we can all think up how if we had this tech, it can make our lives better, but then actually executing and getting a lot of this tech and doing it right is that's the next step. So we're almost out of time, T. It wasn't so difficult. Right?
Speak for yourself.
We made it through.
Just speak for yourself.
We made it through. Thank you very much for the time.
No, thank you for inviting me.